Okay, good morning. What a marvelous experience we're having now. Yes, wonderful. So, all I'm here to tell you today is that time is a lie. Remember how you were raised? You're late. Get up. Go brush your teeth. Come in. Have breakfast. Along the lines of living by the clock. So, with that right there and there, we realize that our notion of time is an illusion. I looked out the window this morning and I wondered if the sun was going to be on time. But realizing that that, too, is a part of the construct that humans have created to measure change. Change is happening. But to get to the idea of time and what an illusion it is, it's said by many philosophers and theorists that the universe really is timeless. But that everything, past, present, and future, are equally real. But we perceive them sequentially to try to get a hold and a grasp on what's going on. So we're familiar with good old Einstein, right? Yes. In his theory of relativity, he suggests that time is not really an absolute, and it's not fixed, and it's not the flowing river. But it really is relative and flexible. Think about it now. When you come right down to it, if you're engaged in something that's boring, time is going to drag. Whereas if you're engaged in something exciting, uplifting, you're going to say, where did the time go? I was having such a good time. But not only that, but think about it. If you've ever had an experience where you're just rolling along with life and then all of a sudden this car is heading right at your vehicle, time slows down. It's as if you get to see everything in the particulars before the car misses you. You don't have the impact, but you were anticipating it. But you do notice, wow, what happened? All of a sudden, I experienced things in a different time than what I'm used to. So we see, okay, time is not the constant that the clock would say it is. As a matter of fact, when we start paying attention and living now, we notice that it is rather irrelevant what's going on in your wristwatch. So, how many people do we know who are all completely here now? Well, we've heard of one anyhow, right? Buddha? Right, because that's what his name means. He was the awakened one. Okay, and it was because he was awake that he was then completely all here. I think maybe sometimes when those incidents happen, that time either slows down and we start experiencing things in a different way. We're here. We're here now. We snap out of our mental stuff that's going on and we actually are here to participate in what's happening. So, consider for a moment the realization that if we choose to be here now, then our awareness, our consciousness is in the only place where creation actually occurs. I just want to let that sink in because you see, this is part of our awakening. That's why we're here. To move away from the unconscious programs that our life is normally regimented by. So another consideration to think of is, well, how do others who are studying life view life? Quantum physics, something that only came into being like in the 20s of the last century. It says everything exists simultaneously in what they called a superposition. We pick and choose out of all the possibilities of everything that exists what we're going to have in our lives. And how do we do it? It's through our consciousness. It's through what we call our awareness that tunes into a specific frequency, and that frequency then reveals the realm of reality that we choose to call our own. But that's out of everything that exists. You see, so far as this world being a set, fixed thing that we move through, totally incorrect. What we're doing is we're actually, with our awareness, we're moving through all these different moments, and we're saying, oh, this is this and this is that, when in reality, all these moments exist simultaneously. We're claiming this is our lives, that we pick up on certain moments and claim them. But imagine for a moment that your life is like a film strip. The beginning, all that's in between, and the end. It already is. But we're living it moment by moment. Whereas in fact, it all exists already. Okay, what does this have to say about desire then? You have desires, you have wants, you have wishes, and you think about them as if they are somewhere else in the future. Whereas the fact is, they exist right here, right now. And how do we pick and choose which ones we will identify with? Again, with our conscious awareness. So to say that tomorrow I'll get there, well, guess what? That's putting time in there. That's saying that it is a matter of time, which is saying it's a matter of limitation, which is saying you're not there at all. You're living in another reality. You're living in a construct that is trying to interpret what is happening. And if you're paying more attention to your interpretation, you're missing the fact that it is already. And that's why there was a teacher that came a while back and said, hey, listen, I want you to start living the end, as if the end already existed. But that doesn't mean that you go and find your desire and you say that I'm going to now create my desire, the fact of the matter is you're going to identify with what already exists, and you're going to begin tuning your attention to that frequency of what's already there. So that becomes your living reality. And you're living it now. It is now for you to recognize what I desire already exists. I'm not creating it. But what I am doing is I am training my capacity of awareness and consciousness to resonate, to vibrate with that which I desire, so that I am making myself available to what is now. So that you get the point of, so eloquently put by Eckhart Tolle, now really is all we have. It's right here, right now, just as if we are. So that we become at one with what is, and we begin to live it now as a part of our living awareness, instead of allowing the training that we've received to become unconscious and to believe that it will come if you do what you need to do, and if you behave yourself, and if you eat your breakfast and get out of here in time. That all these programs that have been given to us, we begin to recognize are a lie. That we've been taught to believe are true. That if we will live by this lie, then we will eventually become successful, become happy, become fulfilled. And it's always keeping it away from us. We're always wondering, well, when is this going to happen? So if anything I would suggest for you today is to delete when from your common language. Begin to replace when with now, so that you begin to be open to the realization everything already exists. It's out there, and out there is in here, so that we bring this reality to a living experience, and we choose what we desire, and we begin to tune our awareness to that frequency so that we become one with it. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
Okay, because see, really what I'm talking about is waking up. Of us stepping out of the unconscious beliefs of who we were trained to see ourselves to be, and open up to where we recognize the other time thing. It really is an illusion. So if you can begin to put the pieces together and see, I'm an eternal being. I'm living out a sequence of moments that I call my life. But as I begin to open up, I begin to experience that I can be here now, and not only be moment by moment living. So, this film strip that's your life, that has a beginning and a middle and an end, it's already here, right now. And anything and everything that you want, if you really get clear and become present, you can look into all of the vastness of the possibilities that lay before you and pick and choose and say, that's what I want. That's who I am. That is what I am going to live now. Connect with it and be assured. It's a fact. It's a reality. Get yourself out of, but when, and begin to live it now as it is, and you'll find your reality changes. And your reality changes because you've changed what you're using as your focus. You're beginning to see, I am truly what is labeled a creator. But the way that I create is by recognizing what already is, and it is now just as I am now. And the connection is made, and the reality reveals. So, what I said to you at the beginning, time, it's a liar. It really is a construct that we have developed as a way of seeing the capability of living life the same, to where we march to the same beat, we pay attention to the same tick and talk, and we come to the agreement, this is real, when saying it's real doesn't make it any less a lie than what it already is. So, see how this can be liberating if you will begin to open yourself up to the fact you are. And many of the things that you have been taught to believe about yourself don't have a thing to do with who you are. As a matter of fact, in many instances, they keep us away from self-discovery. Like these two fellows, what they just demonstrated, were you able to be in where they were here now? That brought us together. So, we have examples of this all the while because this is the big show. But we are also given clues of how to live it successfully. And that is, recognize now is the only time creation occurs. It wasn't in the past, and it wasn't in the future. It is all here now. Thank you.